Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Fahmi and this video about sexual maturation. Do you want to know about it? Watch the video until the end. Before we go to the far away, we start with the definition. What is sexual? Sexual is the things that we born of it. You do not choose it, it's part of who you are. Whether you be physically, emotionally, and attracted to females, males, or even both. Only you can truly know your sexuality because no one can feel the things that you feel except yourself. Next, we go to the maturation. What is maturation? Maturation is a process that we develop, grow, and change throughout our entire life. In children, maturation means going through their development stages. It is to be able to do a task or things that they could not do. So it can be said with maturing there is an increase in competency and adaptability. Now, maturation is multifaceted and auto process. Last, it's about sexual maturation. What is sexual maturation? Sexual maturation or puberty begin at different ages depending on genetic and environmental factors. Sexual maturity begins early than a century ago, probably because of the improvement nutrients, general health, and living conditions. However, whenever sexual maturation begins, typically occurs in the same order.
Okay, Assalamualaikum Mr. Muzamil, how are you?
Waalaikumsalam. I'm very good, thank you.
Alright, first of all, thank you for spending your time and I highly appreciate your willingness to participate in this short interview about a scientific issue called puberty.
It's my pleasure to help you for the assignment. Thank you so much.
Alright. Thinking about your childhood days, can you remember what was the first sign when you hit your puberty?
My first sign when I hit my puberty, of course, the acne will appear, and outdoor smell, and facial armpit. So it's starting to grow because of the hormone keep growing in our body.
Alright. Can you describe your feeling when you hit your puberty back then?
Of course, I feel very uncomfortable with it because all the pimples, the smell, the outdoor smell, so it makes me so uncomfortable with it. But for sure, we need to adapt with the surrounding of the changes in our body. So it takes time to live together with the maturity. So soon or later, it will happen to all kind of men and boys.
Alright. Puberty can be a difficult time for some kids. They are coping with changes in their body and possibly acne or body odor as well at a time when they feel self-conscious. But the emotional roller coaster they are on can have a psychological and emotional effect such as unexplained mood swing, low self-esteem, depression, and so on. Have you been through that kind of situation back then?
Yes, I do have that kind of situation, but when, of course, when we start to get the puberty, to hit the puberty, so of course the moody will suddenly change, and your voice start to crack, and because of the hormone that keep growing in our body, so we still trying to adapt. So possibility, of course, it will cause a mood that not stable.
Okay, alright. Thank you, Muzamil, for joining me today.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Alright, thank you.
So
Assalamualaikum, Miss Fira. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam. I'm good, thank you.
Alright, first of all, thank you for spending your time, and I highly appreciate your willingness to participate in this short interview about sensitive part called puberty.
Oh, it will be my pleasure. I'll be very happy to help you for your assignment.
Okay, alright. Thinking back about your childhood days, can you remember what was the first sign when you hit your puberty?
I get my puberty when I was 13 years old. So, before I get my puberty, the early sign of it is I have pubic hair, I have armpit hair, and then my skin, I become very sensitive. I have big acne in the face, back of the body, and then my body parts like my ass, my chest, everything is growing.
Okay. Can you describe your feeling when you hit your puberty?
At first, when I get my period, I was shocked when the first time I get my period because it's something that you've never been through and then suddenly it happened. So it was a shock and it's not sad, but you're like shocked, yeah, more like shocked to what happened in your body.
Okay, right. Puberty can be a difficult time for some kids. They are coping with changes in their body and possibly acne or body odor as well at a time when they feel self-conscious. But the emotional roller coaster they are on can have a psychological and emotional effects such as unexplained mood swing, low self-esteem, aggression and depression. Have you been through with that kind of situation, and would you describe it for me?
I used to have a very low self-esteem, especially when the puberty hit me. I have lots of pimples. You know, when I go to school, everyone was like talking about my face. So sometimes when you have low self-esteem for yourself, then it will make you feel stressed. You will feel down. So yeah.
Alright, Miss Fira, thank you for joining me, and it is a pleasure to have a talk with you. Alright, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Hi everyone, my name is Farah Shazwan. Normal puberty for female is between 8 to 14 years old. Firstly, breast development is usually the first sign of female sexual maturation. Then hormone. Breast development is influenced by the hormone including estrogen and progesterone. Then, breast development is generally complete at around age 20 for female. After that, pubic and armpit hair will appear. There may be an increase of hair growth. There is not only in pubic area, but also under the arms and on the leg. The first growth is a soft hair that is only appear in a small area. Then it become more down and spread to another area. Pubic hair look like adult hair, but it only in small area. It can spread to a thigh and sometimes up to the stomach. Teen girl will also have their own menstrual period that start between 12 or 13 years old. Often every month, girl will have their own period. This begins when body start to making more hormone to get ready for reproduction. Body begins to release egg from ovaries. Then body shape. Girls' body shape will also begin to change. The hips may get wider as well. There may also be an increase in fat in the legs and stomach. These are normal changes that may happen during puberty.
Hi, my name is KKD3103. The growth spurt during adolescence. Boys, the growth spurt in boys occurs during mid-adolescence between the age of 12 years and 70 years, and usually begins a year after the testes start enlarging. Boys grow about 10 centimeters during the years of maximum growth. In boys, sexual changes begin with the enlargement of the scrotum and testes, followed by the lengthening of the penis. Next, pubic hair appears. Armpit and facial hair appears about 2 years of the pubic hair. Young adolescent boys often have slight enlargement of the breast. Gynecomastia that usually resolve within several years. Girls. The growth spurt in girls occurs in early adolescence between the age 9.5 years and 13.5 years. Girls grow about 9 cm during the year of maximum growth. In most girls, breast budding is the first sign of sexual maturation, followed closely by the start of the growth spurt. Shortly after that, pubic and armpit hairs appear. Menstruation typically begins about 2 years after breast development starts, and when growth in high stalls after reaching its peak velocity.
My name is Nurul Ain binti Nazaruddin. What sexual change that happen to boys? In boys, sexual change begin with enlargement of the structum and testis, followed by lengthening of the penis. Next, facial and armpit hair appears about 2 years after the pubic hair appears. The growth spurt usually begin a year after the testes start enlarging. What is primary and secondary sex characteristic? Sexual maturation includes change in primary and secondary sex characteristic. Primary sex characteristics refer to physical signs of maturity that are directly linked to reproductive organ, while secondary sex characteristics are not directly linked to the reproductive organs. The primary sex characteristics include the structure, testis, and penis, while secondary include the appearance of facial and body hair, the broadening of shoulder, and change in voice and skin for boys. What is the rate of maturation? Although puberty begins at age 12 in average boy, for many children, puberty begins months or even years before or after this norm. An early maturing boy might begin puberty at age 11, whereas a late maturing boy might start at 15 or 16 years old.
Hi, Isa here. So you have learned what is sexual maturation from the previous segment. I hope you gain a new knowledge today. Before you leave, check out our summary video of puberty, and thank you for watching.
What is puberty? Measured by ballonoprepucial separation and vaginal patency. Boy hit puberty from 12 to 17, meanwhile girl from 9 to 17 years old. What responsible for puberty? Of course it is your brain. Introducing hypothalamus and brain, and pituitary gland. How they relate with puberty. Hypothalamus and brain trigger pituitary gland to secrete 4 hormones. But where is female development? We have hormone 2 ladies. Luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone aim for triggering ovary 2. Secrete estrogen and progesterone. Boy and girl will develop different physical changes. Mental changes also inconsistent through puberty. Nevertheless, everyone differ during puberty. So become and enjoy life journey.